Hello, GatorCountry fans. I'm Cassidy Hill. This is Nick Delatorre. And as we've recently learned, my Spanish is not up to his name. But so we're just going to go with my good old Alabama accent. And we are actually here in Alabama, in Hoover, home sweet home. I know how much you enjoy being here with us in Alabama. You went through Georgia, right, to avoid it?
Completely. I earned myself 2 speeding tickets leaving SEC Media Days last year. So I avoided Alabama altogether, decided that Atlanta rush hour traffic would be better than driving through Alabama, and it was.
And whereas I took a route that took 2 extra hours just so I could drive right up through the middle of the state because I just love it that much. Home sweet home. Don't hate. Get up out of here with that hate. But we are here in Hoover, host of the SEC Media Days. We've got quite a few SEC Media Days between us now, and I mean, I think you would agree, Madhouse is like an understatement for what this week has grown into.
Yeah, and I think the first year I was here, it was Johnny Manziel, so that kind of media circus, and coming last year, I thought, well, it'll probably be toned down a little bit, and maybe a little bit, but it's a circus. Doesn't matter what guys are coming, doesn't matter, what coaches have said leading up to this is going to be a circus, and I think it is because in the South, we love our football, and this is, for me and for many people, the start of the football season. You've made it through the desert that is the off season, and
it's a horrible, bleak time.
A little bit of manna is falling from the sky, and that is talking season, as Coach Spurrier would say. But SEC Media Days is, for me, the kickoff to the season, and just a little bit of football that we've been thirsty for a while now.
There's always so many things that people are looking for with Media Days, and I know there's things we've talked about that we're looking for as well. But what are some of the things that you specifically are looking for from this year with the new commissioner coming in? And, you don't really have that superstar per se that'll be here, not a Johnny Manziel or a Tim Tebow. Right. So what are you looking for? Yeah,
there's really no big names, but you mentioned it. First thing I'm looking forward is Mike Slive, the end of an era. He kind of took the SEC from a from a conference and built it to what it is. Now it's this national, spectacle for SEC Media Days. It's become the pinnacle of conferences and what other conferences are striving to achieve. You're going to have the SEC Network here for the first time broadcasting. I really am interested to see what Greg Sankey, this is really his first big public event, first time he's really addressing everybody as the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference. So how does he handle that? What does he have to say? He'll be first up 9 a.m. on Monday morning. What does he have to say? After that, I'm looking forward to something new, a little new twist that they're doing this year with these Beyond the Field stories. So every team has brought a player that has a heartwarming or a struggle that they've overcome in their life to get to the point where they're at. So each team is bringing somebody who has this kind of different story. It's not just talking about X's and O's and, hey, who's DBU? Is it LSU? Is it Florida? We're going to talk to Jonathan Bullard from Florida about how his grandmother told him don't stay. He wanted to stay close to home in North Carolina to be close to his grandmother. She told him, follow your dream, go to Florida. She passed away during his freshman year, and it really affected him. And, it's something that he carries with him, and it shaped him as a man from a kid, a toddler. She helped raise him. So there's these stories that you don't really have time to tell during the football season when you're so focused on the games and the schedule. So I think I'm really looking forward to getting to know some of these guys and what they've been through to get to this point.
We're going to come back to the players some a little bit, but let's go back to Sankey because I think a lot of football fans, the ones that have watched it on ESPN in the past and can watch it on SEC Network now, they skip over the commissioner. They wait for the players. They wait for the coaches. They stand downstairs in the lobby here to get autographs. They don't really listen to what he has to say. But we've learned it's kind of important, whatever he talks about. That sets the tone for, what's going to be accepted in the years to come. And we always talk about coaches winning the press conference, but then you want to see what they do on the field. The commissioner, a lot of what he says in the press conference is pertinent. So what you said, you want to know what he's going to say. What do you think he really has to say to kind of make football fans feel comfortable with, Mike Slive heading on?
Well, last year, Mike Slive really used this platform to hammer down, our Power 5 conferences. We want certain rules, certain things to happen, and he kind of used it as a stand to say to the NCAA, like, hey, we're going to get our way, we're going to go do our own thing, we're going to take our ball and go find another game. For Sankey this year, I think it's just kind of, his message just needs to be, it's a new face, but we're going to keep that same trajectory. Like, don't expect the SEC to take a step back because Slive isn't going to be here. And I think that's all you really need to get from him is these are the plans we have. The SEC network was a huge success. These are our plans to continue growing that, to continue growing the league, continue growing the brand, because it's more than just a league. It's now a brand. And I think that's really all you really need to get from him is some semblance that, hey, we have a plan. There's somebody new in charge. People are always scared of change, scared of something new. Even though it's new, we're going to continue growing it as it has been the past 5, 6, 7 years.
Okay, let's go back to the players now because they're the reason we're here. They play the games. They're the ones that get up and dance in the press conferences. What do you most want to see maybe from individual guys or just from an overview?
From individual guys, I want to see, Vernon Hargreaves. I think we were trying to figure out who were Florida's national headline guys, and you might only have one. They weren't going to bring a quarterback because that would have become
that could have been fun.
If Jim McElwain brought a quarterback, they would just shut down SEC Media Days the rest of the week because that would have been the entire story of the week. Florida names their starting quarterback by bringing so-and-so to the event. I think Vernon Hargreaves is really, he's your lone returning All-American, probably the best cornerback in the country. And then I kind of want to see how he handles. He's going to get questions about DBU. The whole Twitter battle between Florida and LSU has been going on this offseason. He's going to get questions about that.
I wish they were here on the same day.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
We'll
have to wait till Thursday to get to LSU and see what their take on it. And then I'm also interested in Brandon Powell. We've only talked to Brandon Powell, I think, once in the spring. He was a freshman, so we didn't talk to him last year. Coaching staff absolutely loves him. On the field, off the field. On the field, his dynamic playmaking ability. Off the field, the way he's kind of attacked a new staff and a new strength and conditioning program and not really, when something changes like this, it's out of your control, you can get down and say, well, this isn't what I signed up for. I signed up for this other coaching staff. He just attacked it. They love his enthusiasm in the program, and I think that shows how much the coaching staff trusts him to bring a sophomore who they've only known for 6 months or so and to throw him into the Lions den here at SEC Media Days. So see how he handles it. Definitely it's nice to see a senior in Jonathan Bullard kind of get a reward, a nice little private jet from Gainesville out to Hoover.
That's what we should have caught.
And then every year I always look forward to when the president of Alabama, Sir Nicholas Saban, comes in.
Graces us with his presence.
If you don't know, behind us there are escalators. That goes down to the lobby of the hotel.
Which is really the belly of the beast.
The belly of the beast. We are in these rooms off to the sides here. Doors are closed while we're doing interviews. And when Alabama comes in, all you hear are writers and reporters giggling because we just hear Roll Tide coming up the escalators and through the cracks in the door. Hundreds of people.
Drifts on the wind.
I think it's a statewide holiday where nobody works when
no one
Saban
has to
shows
go to
up.
work on Friday or on Thursday of SEC Media Days. Yeah. Do you know that already?
I didn't. Floridian.
We learned that from a young age here. But speaking of head coaches, Jim McElwain, this is going to be his first, not only SEC Media Days gig. At Colorado State, he's a head coach, but I don't think he's going to face anything like this. No. How do you think he handles it?
Yeah, he's very good. He's going to give you his corny, I think they've been compared to, your typical stereotypical dad lines, dad jokes. But he'll do fine. He, in my opinion, he came out guns blazing. He made his Clarabelle, I can win with my dog. I mean, that was overblown. But I think he kind of saw how much work that he had to do, and he's kind of backed off those. He really knows that this is going to probably be a 2-3 year rebuild to get to where the program should be and where he thinks it can be, which is competing for SEC and national championships. But he's great with the media. He's going to do well. But this is his big introduction. There were some national guys at his introduction to Florida, but this is everybody.
Yeah. And it's 6 months later.
Every year, there's more and more credentialed media to this thing, so this will be his big introduction as the new face of Florida football. Okay,
last thing real quick, just to send the fans out with a little tizzy. You touched on waiting to see LSU, to see their opinion on DBU, but there's
Miles.
I
want to know what his family vacations were. He's going to let us all know. I know he will.
I know.
That's
every
how he starts
media
it off. Every media days. Well, family went down here.
Last year they went biking up, I think, in Michigan. I don't quite remember. I'll have to go back.
Sorry.
But when these teams come in, especially LSU and a little bit of Tennessee, Alabama is kind of taught not to, but some trash talking goes on here. So especially after the last couple of seasons Florida has had, what, just as a writer who wants quotes, what would you like to hear some of these other teams say about the Gators?
Well, I think in this day and age the players are coached so well, so I don't really expect anything
so boring. I'm just kidding.
Crazy. You're going to get your kind of cut and paste answers. They're the toughest team we'll play because we're playing them this week, and then next week that's the toughest team we're going to play because we're playing them that week. A couple teams I'm really interested in. Missouri came out with their media guide, big gold letters on a black cover, back-to-back SEC East champs.
No.
Tennessee. Tennessee's a team that's really, Butch has done a really good job building them, and they might be the favorite right now in the East. The East, again, for another year, it's a broken record, but the East is weak. So can Tennessee beat Florida in that fourth game of the year? Can they jump and take that next step and win the East? What does Missouri do? Missouri seems to just replace these scary defensive ends every year, and then there's just a new scary defensive end that dominates Tyler Moore and sacks whoever the quarterback is. So it's going to be interesting. I think those two teams are interesting in the East. And then the West, again, loaded. Kevin Sumlin's been great for a quote. He did not enjoy the Johnny Manziel questions last year. So there's just good quotes. Mark Richt is always good to talk to. There's just a bunch of good guys. There maybe aren't those big names, but a guy like Jordan Jenkins is someone I want to talk to. Matty Mock I want to talk to. So there's storylines to be found, and there's big personalities here. Maybe some personalities that are big, but most people just haven't heard of them yet or haven't seen that yet.
It will be quite an exciting week. We will be here for you through every step of it, for every copy and pasted answer, every piece of trash talk that slips through, and a lot of free Dr. Pepper.
All 200 cups of Starbucks coffee, which is conveniently located just downstairs.
It's not free like the Dr. Pepper is. God bless the SEC. Thanks so much, Nick. Gator Country fans, we'll be here for you all week from Hoover, Alabama at SEC Media Days.